disgusted by the porn my boyfriend watches. So I don't really like porn. I think it's toxic for relationships, teaches unrealistic expectations about sex, and its extremity just makes people need more and more perversion to be turned on. I've only had 2 boyfriends and I've been honest about my view of porn to them. I didn't outright ban them from watching it, but I told them I wouldn't watch it with them, that I'm not going to live out any porn fantasy, and I'd prefer if they didn't watch, but if they do, just kept it away from me. I started dating my current boyfriend 3 months ago. Told him my view of porn really early. He seemed understanding and actually told me he agreed. The relationship was great at the beginning, but we started having some issues in our sex life. He sometimes struggled to maintain an erection. I didn't want to shame him for something that could make him insecure, so I didn't really bring it up much. Another issue is that was a bit of a selfish lover and didn't seem overly concerned with making me orgasm. Whenever I tried to talk about it, he kinda got defensive and deflected. He recently let me use his laptop at his house to work on an assignment. I've used his laptop a few times before. He accidentally left a page up with like 12 tabs up, most of which were porn. I wasn't really shocked he was watching porn, but when I looked at some of the titles of what he was watching, I was disgusted. So much of it was like R/P scenes or G/NGB/ung stuff. I looked into his history and a lot of it was like that. I tried to watch one to see what it was actually like, and I watched about 3 minutes before I turned it off because it was triggering. I packed up my stuff and told him I wasn't sure if the relationship was going to work and I wanted to leave. After a bit of arguing back and forth where he haggled me for details, I finally left the house. He later texted me about what was wrong, and I explained that I wasn't comfortable with what porn he was watching and it really grossed me out. He called me many times and I finally answer, and of course he acts like I'm extremely overreacting and I'm a prude, and most guys watch stuff like, it's just fantasy, it's not real, and I'm making him seem like something he's not. He says I'm making him seem like a pervert and shaming his kinks. He then told me he would stop watching it and begged me to take him back. I'm conflicted because I really liked the guy, but we were already having issues without sex life and the porn issue makes it worse. I think porn that depicts overt violence and R/P towards women is disgusting and says something about how he views women. My brother thinks that I overreacted and that even if I break up with him I didn't have to treat him like a pervert. I just wanted advice in what to do. I'm not crazy for wanting to end the relationship over this, am I? Break up with him. Don't be conflicted. You are not compatible, and 3 months is a great time to cut your losses and move on. You are allowed to feel uncomfortable. You are allowed to break up with someone for any reason at all, or for no reason at all. You and this person have incompatible views regarding porn and sex in general. There is no reason you have to stay with him. You don't need to prove him or the internet that you're right, but your feelings are valid. It is also valid for him to want to continue watching the porn that he does. But those things probably cannot peacefully coexist in a relationship. So, just as you said, it's probably not going to work out. You don't have to convince him of that, and you do not need to relitigate your position on the matter. Say goodbye and be done. I think it comes down to compatibility and boundaries. You're allowed for porn to be a boundary, regardless of genre. But at the same time, porn is out there and a lot of people enjoy it. You're just going to have to be more selective in your dating choices. It's just like any other preference, there are people out there that agree with you. You just have to find them. Another issue is that was a bit of a selfish lover and didn't seem overly concerned with making me orgasm. Whenever I tried to talk about it he kinda got defensive and deflected. Selfish lover that doesn't want to talk or improve. This would be the reason to break up even before you found the porn. You two are just incompatible. It happens. You don't have to accept what he's into and he doesn't have to accept your opinion of it. It's only been a few months. Leave now and you'll both find someone else you're more into. I 17F, think I saw a video of my boyfriend, 18 meters, having sex with another girl. Basically at school, this girl's video sex tape was sent around. The girl's face was pretty recognizable, but you couldn't see the guy's face cause like he was recording. I'm 92% sure that it is my boyfriend in the video. Even though you couldn't see his face, you could see his hand. This may seem like a stretch, but the guy in the video has a birthmark on the back of his hand just like my boyfriend, in the same exact place. Also, my boyfriend is friends with that girl. Am I reading too much into this? Should I ask him about it? First, the girl should know that her video is going around. I'd put money on there being a crime committed, and she should have options and earning about it. It can affect her whole life here. This is bigger than cheating. Distribution of revenge porn, possibly underage threats, terrible. She needs to know. It may or may not be your boyfriend. You can ask him, after you inform her. Ask her, not him. Not only should you ask him about it, but if he leaked that video, you should dump him immediately. That kind of behavior is the lowest form of human being. And if she was underage, he belongs in jail. Don't resend GHE video. Whatever you decide to do, stop spreading IT. What the hell? Anyone told the girl that this video is going around? Speak to her directly. It's a criminal offense to release this without her consent where I live, and she may want to pursue it. My 30F father, 58M, and brother, 29M, want me to pay in advance on my inheritance. How do I navigate this? My father and brother live in my father's £110,000 house, which has been paid off, Wales. They both work together doing odd jobs, around 15 hours per week at minimum wage, but have never made an effort to have a full-time job or earn anything more. Neither of them is in the best physical or mental health issues, which I feel are compounded by a lack of work. Both are quite socially isolated, very dependent on each other, and suffer with intermittent depression. In my early 20s I followed a similar path, doing odd jobs, working 15 hours a week and never having much money. After a couple of years of doing this, I realized I needed a change and got myself a full-time job at a large company and started to work my way up. Now I am in a position where I earn a wage above the national average, own my own home with my husband, and have plenty of disposable income for investments and holidays. My father and brother have recently come to me with a proposition, mostly driven by my brother. They have a dream of traveling around South America for 6 months but don't currently have the money and will take 5 years plus to save the funds. In order to give them the funds, they're suggesting that my husband and I give them £10,000 as an advance payment against what would be my future inheritance when my father dies, the house. The deal is I give them the money. When my father dies, the house is split between me and my brother, for which I would receive roughly £55,000. It is essentially the same principle as equity release that some people do. I am not banking on any kind of inheritance. When my father dies without that house, my brother will be homeless, and without kicking him out, I will not see the money. The money itself is not important, as I will not need it and I am not expecting it. However, this proposition makes me uncomfortable. I work full-time and have applied myself to my career to get where I am today, whilst my father and brother are refusing to get a full-time job and are quite happy to do bit-part work. The solution is that they get a full-time job and save up like most people do. I want to see my father be happy and live his dream, but I don't want to be subsiding their poor lifestyle choices, my brother in particular. How do I tactfully navigate this and say no? A guy I used to work with had this with his dad. He gave the money, it got spent, then as the dad couldn't retire until 65 and could not access benefits as he owned the home, he sold it off. Then he left him with the entire bill for the funeral when he passed. Don't be that guy. Just tell them that you haven't got 10 grand lying around to give them. There you go. And if they suggest taking out an equity loan on your home, then let them know they can do the same thing. And it would still come out of your inheritance anyway. Just say no. That's not an advance on your inheritance. They just want to travel and are too lazy to work for it, so they're asking you for 10 grand. When someone wants to go bumming around on vacation for 6 months, or any kind of vacation for that matter, they work to earn the money and fund it themselves. If you start giving them money now, you will forever be their ATM. I don't think you have to be tactful, just be honest. Tell them you know full well you won't see an inheritance, so any money you give them would supposedly just be a gift. Since neither of them really apply themselves in working hard, you don't think it's fair of them to mooch off of your hard work. Maybe just suggest they start working more than 15 hours a week so they can save enough to travel. Give them leads to odd jobs if you have any. Help them create a budget, if you want. My brother is the same way, and if he came to me asking for money I'd flat out say no. Lol. Don't feel guilty for setting boundaries.